Welcome to the Student Affairs New Professional One Thing, a podcast that asks a simple question of new professionals in the field. What is one thing you have learned you feel will help you as you move forward in your career? I'm your host, Stuart Brown, the developer of studentaffairs.com, one of the most accessed websites by student affairs professionals. On our pages, we have the most cost-effective job posting board, listing hundreds of open student services positions and a wide range of webinars. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Alcohol 101 Plus, a cost-free digital alcohol education program developed by responsibility.org. Designed to be used by colleges and universities, the course includes interactive and quick-paced programming covering core alcohol education topics. Through an administrative dashboard, the program contains tools for institutions to easily roster students, track progress, and analyze student metrics. To learn more about Alcohol 101 Plus, visit alcohol101.plus. On today's episode, I am very pleased to have Tony Williams, an area coordinator at Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome to the program, Tony.
Thank you. Nice for having me.
So, Tony, what is your one thing?
My one thing for today that I want to share with you all is the most important person is yourself. Why is that? In undergrad, so I work in residence life. This is going into my second year residence life. In undergrad, I was an RA, and to take care of other people, put other people first, and make sure that we address the needs / wants of our residents to make sure they have the best experience that they can in their, college career. As an RA, it's programming Monday and then programming on Tuesday and then meet and greets on Thursdays. I found myself after a while being burnt out, tired, because I wasn't addressing myself. I had nothing to give at the end of the week. I was more so having a mask on instead of expressing how I really felt. Let's say being positive, actually being positive instead of faking to be positive because I was tired and burnt out and worn out. I believe it is important to assess and address your own wellness in order to make sure your residents are good to go, your RAs are good to go.
So when you were experiencing this as an undergraduate RA, did you ever express this to your residence hall director, or was that ever a part of, let's say, the policy of the residence life office, or was this something that maybe you weren't getting what you needed and sort of you had this epiphany on your own?
I believe we were told, make sure we take care of ourselves in order to perform the best that we could. But on the other end, it's like, always be positive, always be happy, show a happy face, be positive when you meet and greet other people, show the best part of college. And by doing that, it had the illusion that we had to be positive and where we had to show positivity all the time, no matter how we felt. And so after a while, it was like burnt out more easily than it would have been if I would have been settled down and addressed my own personal emotions / feelings and listened or watched the signs my body gave off.
Well, also one thing that you left out is when you're an RA, you're not always on duty, but you're always on duty. Everything you're talking about. And then when you're in that residence hall, you are on.
And it's like a 24/7, 365 thing. Yes, we should have boundaries. I didn't do my best when I was an RA with boundaries. Again, I wanted to make sure my residents were taken care of. But on the flip side of that, I wasn't taken care of as a result of that. I had residents who at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. would contact me, knock on my door, and be like, just, hey, I need to talk to you. Instead of now I'm learning in my second year as a professional, hey, if it can wait, we'll talk when I get up in the morning. If it can't wait, like you said, I'm not on duty. Please contact the person on duty if it's an emergency situation.
So as an area coordinator, do you have residence hall directors and RAs under you or just professional staff?
In my role, I oversee 2 freshman buildings and I oversee a staff of 20 RAs. And so it's definitely important overseeing a staff of 20 RAs to be like, hey, I cannot meet with you all or chat about stuff if I'm not on duty at 1 a.m. because, again, I need to make sure each one of you I give my best to all the time.
Do you now practice, in a sense, what you were preaching when you were an RA, though, and tell the RAs and really tell them you need to be mindful of yourself? Yes, you're on duty. Yes, these are the requirements of the position, but you need to make sure that you don't burn out and maybe even say to them, look, I'm here. If you need to talk about balance of life and work and academics, let's do that.
Yeah, 100%. One of my first expectations that I give off to my RAs is that you are a person/human first. What do I mean by that? I mean that, again, make sure that you address your feelings, make sure that you take care of feelings, make sure you have time off or time away from campus to rejuvenate, recover, and refresh.
Tony, I want to thank you for sharing your one thing. I think that is so important, that especially in residence life, because like you said, when you're in that building, you are on. And we always talk about the balance in student affairs. And I think sometimes we talk about it, we don't always practice it as much. So I think that's great as a new professional that you recognize it and that you can share that with the staff and even with the other professionals on your campus.
We can't give out to them to the best of our ability if we have nothing to give. You can't go for a car if the car's on E. You can't give if you're on E. You have to make sure you rejuvenate and fill up again before you do the next thing.
You have been listening to the Student Affairs New Professional One Thing, a podcast that asks a simple question of new professionals in the field. What is one thing you have learned you feel will help you as you move forward in your career? I've been your host, Stuart Brown, the developer of studentaffairs.com. I want to thank my guest today, Tony Williams, an area coordinator at Baldwin Wallace University. I hope you will join us next time for another episode of the Student Affairs New Professional One Thing.